So Bob says the Max Br1 Mini LTE would be a good option for an RV. Yeah, so the BR1 is a good option, but what we're really promoting is the use of our multi-cellular ones. So multi-cellular routers give a much better user experience. It means you can properly utilize things like the SpeedFusion and multiple SIM cards, multiple carriers, that kind of stuff. Okay, so Chris Summer asks, can you do connection bonding with a Max Br1 Mark II with two different carrier SIM cards or with a mix of WANs? So with the BR1, it's a single cellular modem. It has two SIM card slots, but only one modem. So you can't bond the two SIM cards together because you can only use one of them at a time. But you can, when using SpeedFusion Cloud, you can bond the active SIM card and the Ethernet WAN or the Wi-Fi WAN. You can bond those three. So you can mix the WANs up there, but you can't actually bond two SIM cards with the BR1 because it is single modem as such. If you did want to bond two SIM cards, you would be best off looking at the Transit Duo. Pete Paisley, he said, you mentioned satellite support, please elaborate. So if you need satellite, you can use the Ethernet WAN ports on our router. So you're still going to need to use the satellite modem that's supplied by your satellite provider. So you would set that up as normal, but then instead of connecting to the Wi-Fi of that modem directly, you can actually plug the Ethernet into the PepWave. And then the PepWave can handle the usage, directing different traffic to the different WANs. So you can have use the satellite as a failover. So you can use cellular primarily and failover to the satellite. Or if you want to have certain things just go over the satellite, you can do that. It really depends on your setup. Everyone has a very different setup, and your setup will be personal depending on your connectivity options. And we've just got the routers that can support all those different types of options. Scott Yates asked, can the Max Duo, so obviously the Max Transit Duo, act as a local Wi-Fi access point? Yes, it can. So it has Wi-Fi WAN and LAN simultaneously. So it can be connected to Wi-Fi and use that as its internet source, and also broadcast its Wi-Fi as a LAN access point as well as such. George Keller asks, can you discuss VPN usage over cellular outside of SpeedFusion? So I'm assuming this means that you, like a VPN, like the NordVPN that was mentioned earlier, or something like that. So you can use that outside. So that would be direct from your laptop out over the connection that's provided by the PepWave, and that would work no problem. People do that. That can also be used for VPNs to connect to offices and things like that. Corporate setups, things like that as well. Okay, I'm just going through some more of the questions here. Simon Bush asked, do we need to add a Wi-Fi access point like the AP1 Mini for a wireless device if using one or both Wi-Fi WAN frequencies? No, you don't. As I just mentioned for the previous question there, the Wi-Fi WAN and access point function simultaneously. So if we look here on the dashboard, you can see that we've got the two Wi-Fi WANs connected here, and we've also got the Wi-Fi access point enabled and running, and that's all running using the same Wi-Fi. So there is no need for an additional access point. If you want to, you can put an additional access point, which will increase your coverage and things like that. but you don't have to. You can keep it all in one device. Mihail asks, can only VPN traffic be forwarded to the SpeedFusion? In your example, you use the UBR Go. Is it discontinued? On the website, there's only UBR. No, the UBR Go is not discontinued. It's a new model. It's not on our website yet. We can share with you the data sheet for it. If you head over to the forum, we will post some information, the links and that kind of stuff there. So the links to like the data sheet for the UBR Go. And there's a few other models there as well. Jonathan DeBelsa asks, we are using balanced routers as endpoints. Is there a possibility to do a hot failover to SpeedFusion Cloud? And is there a possibility to use Vrrp at layer 2 for redundancy between a balanced router and a virtual machine? Okay, so there's quite a bit going on in there. So you can use a balanced router as the endpoint for your own SpeedFusion. So you can set up SpeedFusion between two Peplink routers, and you don't use SpeedFusion Cloud for that as such. At the same time, you can also use SpeedFusion Cloud in that mix as a hot failover, as like a standby backup if you wanted to. And is there a possibility to use Vrrp at layer 2 for redundancy between the balanced router and virtual machine? I think we'll need a little bit more information on exactly how you want to set that up, but there should be a way that something can be done around that to create some redundancy there for you. Okay, just going through some more questions here. There are quite a few here, so I'm going to try and crack through them. I'm just going to switch back to the chat there. So there's a few questions, a few more conversations that have been going on there. Just looking through it. So Jan asks, is the pricing for SpeedFusion per month or for the total duration listed? So it's for the duration listed. So if we, where did I have that? I think it's Peplink. Yeah, so you'll see here we have the if we go SpeedFusion Cloud. So with these packages, so if we look at the package B, plan B, that's 500 gigabytes, which is valid for 6 months. So it's not 500 gigabytes per month. It's 500 gigabytes of which you can use over a 6-month period. If you use that 500 gigabytes before the 6 months is up, you can just purchase another 500 gigabytes. You don't have to wait until that 6 months is up. Or you could purchase a larger package. And then again, down here, like the 10 terabytes, that is valid for 3 years. So you've got 10 terabytes that you can use at any point over those 3 years. So you could use that 10 terabytes all in 1 month if you wanted to, and then just purchase another 10 terabytes. It's very flexible that way. So that was a question from Jan. Okay, so from Will Richards, I use about 500 gigabytes per month. Is there a plan for that? It depends where you're located. There is different regions have different plans. I know Europe is tends to be a lot easier for data packages. So there's definitely packages out there. I do know of clients that are using up around 10 terabytes a month on cellular in Europe while roaming. That's done through packages with 4 SIM cards through the same provider. So it is possible to get large data packages, but obviously the more data you use, the more it is going to cost. Mark asks, sorry, you might have already mentioned it. Which PepWave device are you doing this demo on? I was doing the demo here on a UBR Go. It does say, yeah, so it says UBR Go there. So the UBR Go is like a Transit Duo. It's similar specs to it, just a few minor differences. Again, we'll share those details on the forum there. Okay, scrolling down a little bit here through a few more questions. Okay, it's a few more. It's just a bit of conversation. Okay. Okay, I'll come back to the questions and answers now. Okay, so Max says, just some feedback. I have a Transit Duo category 12 plus a Duo category 18 in the WAN port. So I'm assuming you've got a Transit Duo category 12 and a Transit category 18 single modem in the WAN port. With Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile using SpeedFusion, and it is head and shoulders above other solutions. I've tried almost everything else. My wife now does conference calls while we drive, and we're so confident in the connectivity. That's great. That is exactly what we strive to do, and it's great to hear that you're getting the results that you want. Okay, another question here. Once a device is out of warranty, you cannot manage it through In Control. Is it possible to extend the warranties to continue to manage it within Control? Yes, it is possible to extend the warranty. So you can, for the BR1s and some of the balances, you can just purchase just the In Control 2 license just by itself. But for the Transit Duos, the MBXs and those models, it needs to be in warranty to utilize In Control 2. So you can easily extend the warranty and you'll continue to benefit from those features. Some of the models like the Transit Duo now also come in Prime Care, and Prime Care includes warranty and the In Control as well, and the SpeedFusion bonding license. Daniel has asked, can the software be improved to speed up the time to switch SIMs on a modem? It takes 5 minutes or more today. It sometimes depends on the networks as well, because the SIM cards do need to kind of connect to the networks as well. There's only so much we can speed up in that way. If it does, 5 minutes does seem like a bit long. If you want to open up a support ticket for that, the engineers will definitely have a look at it for you. George Keller has asked, under advanced, there is IPsec VPN. How do you use that? So the IPsec VPN that is in our routers is for site-to-site connections. So that'll be to connect a PEP VPN router to something like a firewall in an office or a corporate situation. That's what that's for. It's not to connect to a IPsec VPN service as such that you can sign up for. Mihul, sorry, what about only VPN with SpeedFusion? I'm not exactly sure what you're meaning there, but you can use a VPN from your laptop straight out over the PepWave or through SpeedFusion as well. So you could have VPN inside a VPN. That's completely possible as well. Okay, there's a few more questions there that I'm going to get through as well, but we're getting towards the end of them there. If you do have any questions, please ask them now, and I will try and get them answered. If there's any more questions there. Okay, Marty asks, will the Transit Mini be upgraded to 5G, or will new router be required? Yeah, a new router will be required. The transits are not upgradable as such. Anthony asks, what is the status of the Max Br1 Mini? I'm assuming that is in relation to the Verizon certification is what you're meaning there. So if we have a look at the slideshow, so we've got the BR1 Mini core is certified for Verizon. I will check on that because the BR1 Mini, I believe, should be certified as well, but I will check with Travis on that. Bill Johnson, using the Pepwave Surf Soho Mark III, I found that in case of high density situations, the 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi WAN fails back frequently to 2.4 gigahertz. Each time taking the road 2 to 3 minutes to fall back. Is there any fix for this so the router presents a more reliable connection for the connected users? Could you please open a support ticket for that? It does. It sounds like there might be something going on with the Wi-Fi, but if it is dense and the Wi-Fi is kind of using its protocols to make things better, then that's just naturally what Wi-Fi will do. Yeah, but open a support ticket if you feel it's not working as you would expect it to. Also, post it on the forum there. Someone might have a little trick for it. There is a lot of information on the forum there. Jonathan says, we notice that the bandwidth limit is defined per interface, but we want to limit a total limit. We also know bursts of data influences our audio codecs when combining a high latency connection such as satellite, for example, in the Tour de France. Yeah, so with, I'll answer the second question there first. So if you're using a high latency connection such as satellite, and you've got that in with SpeedFusion, you'll only want it as a failover, like a hot failover for SpeedFusion. You don't want to bond it with the other connections. The latency difference is just too much, and the bonding will not work as you expect it to. And then defining the bandwidth limit per interface, I'm assuming that's on the Ethernet WAN interfaces. You can define it. If you want to define a total limit, you can use the user groups and bandwidth reservation groups there as well to set up something that would suit your setup. Okay, so I'm just going to go down to the bottom of the questions now. I think I have answered most of the ones that I can for now. Daniel asks, can the iPhone, iPad apps be improved some? Would like to be able to switch SIMs from modem from the app. Okay, that is a great feature request, Daniel. If you could put that on the forum. So on the forum, there's a lot of things like this, and that's where a lot of our features come from. And if other people comment on and say, yeah, that's a great thing we want, the engineers will work on it. There has been recently a update on the app, which was to do with the Wi-Fi WAN, so you could manage the Wi-Fi WANs within the app. I believe that would be a very good addition to the app for this market as well. So have a look at that. And yeah, to switch SIMs, yeah, that's definitely one that could be added to it. So put it on the forum, see what other people think about it too. Joel asks, will the Max Transit series ever have USB for tethering? So the Max Transit does not have a USB on it, and we don't really have a plan for that. If you want USB tethering, you'll have to be looking at like the MBX and those kind of routers that have got the USB ports on them, and obviously Android phones as well on that. However, for the USB tethering, our Max adapter that we talked about that has the eSIM support, that will be supported via the devices that have USB. So that is one thing there as well. Marcelo asks, please Peplink have plans to launch a BR1 Mini core supporting bands 1, 3, 5, 7, and 28. Okay, so the BR1 Mini core, let's have a quick look at the specs on that. So if we go products, BR1. So BR1 Mini core. And if you haven't checked out our new website, go and check it out. There's a lot of information there now, a lot of new information. So the BR1 Mini core, currently there's just the US model that supports these bands. So it's a category 4 modem. So the BR1 Mini core is designed as a device for where connectivity is required, but it's not necessary. It doesn't have to be always on, and not it doesn't really have the SpeedFusion, that kind of stuff. So it's more lower end kind of installs as such. If you're after something that covers more bands, you need to look at a different category modem router. So something that has category 6 or 12 modems in it. Something more like the BR1 Mark II, that'll have it there. Okay, so I think that has covered it all for now.